let's see, what was it called? It was called Choreographic Encounters in 2002 out of Dublin. And the Institute for Contemporary Dance in Dublin invited me to write a paper for the inauguration of Choreographic Encounters. This is 2002. I was making a piece at that time. I had made a piece, and it was called Oh Beautiful. It came from Oh Beautiful. And because I wanted to make a piece about politics, I never set out to work in this way. But somehow I wanted to include a political statement in a dance that I was going to make. And I couldn't, since I had no experience doing anything like that. I started off with, oh, beautiful. That's as far as I got. I also wanted, in making this piece, Oh Beautiful, this is 2002, I gave myself this question: could I, if I just had the blueprint in space, if I just had the blueprint, the spatial blueprint for a dance, in other words, this is the space I would cover. And if I had a really, really, really fabulous question to address to my whole body, as I followed this blueprint for over a year in space with a fabulous question in my whole body, could I call that choreography if there was no prescribed movement to the dance, but I had a very specific floor pattern and a very, very stimulating question that I could address to my whole body? If I went into a studio daily with this, if I set this up, would a dance emerge without my making it and without having to create prescribed movement? That was my challenge to myself choreographically. So I made this dance So Beautiful, 2002. I asked a young woman in Austin, Texas, where I live, if she would design a post-apocalyptic costume, or a post-apocalyptic looking costume for me for this piece. And she designed this really cute number, and I kind of liked it, and so that was my costume for the piece. And when glory, glory, hallelujah, glory, glory, hallelujah. In Helsinki, there was a performance in Helsinki. I performed it in Helsinki. I also performed it at Skidmore College, wearing this really adorable little post-apocalyptic costume that did not feel appropriate to me at all. In that it strongly influenced my dancing, and it really got in the way for me. I felt quite limited by the cuteness of the costume. So I'm back in Austin, Texas, as I said, where I live, and because my finances at the time were so poor, I used to get studio space donated to me because I would work in the studio so early in the morning. I would rent, and people couldn't rent their studios at that hour. And I was, well, if I would use the studio from 6 to 8 in the morning, we can't rent it anyway, can I use your studio, and I'll put your name in all the programs I'll ever do. And so I had a pretty good relationship with my community in that way. I could find space that nobody else wanted or used at that hour, and I could their bills up. I was very kind of, and Austin is a hot place during the summer. And so I wouldn't turn on the air conditioning. Well, here it was, May, June, I'm to perform Oh Beautiful again in London in July 2003. And I'm in the studio again, and I just think it's so hot. I mean, it's so hot. So I take off all my clothes, and I start performing Oh Beautiful. And that was the costume. And what I experienced performing that piece without any clothes on was so phenomenal that that had to be the costume. But I'm also, at that time, I was 61 or 62 years old, and I really, did not see a future for me. So I thought, well, when I go to London, I still had a costume made for me. I had a very conservative, pale blue pair of linen pants and a shirt. And my thought was I would see how the audience felt when I performed in London. I was doing two pieces. One was called Music, and it was followed by Oh Beautiful. And I thought I would see how I felt. Anyway, in the studio, I changed the name of the dance to Beauty. And that is when I say the lecture on the performance of beauty. It's the evolution from Oh Beautiful to Beauty. That became the name of the piece that I performed in London. The audience was great, so I decided at the time I stepped out after intermission to perform Beauty. I decided I would perform the costume that felt appropriate to it. I asked for a volunteer from the audience to come on stage, and when she came on stage, I whispered my directions to her, which was that would she undress me, and that was the start of the piece. That's the background of it. As well as your distance from it.
It's gorgeous, it is enough.